Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the January 18th, 2022 Bedminster Township Committee meeting. We've got a quorum tonight with us. I'm attending remotely by Zoom. Mayor Jacobs is attending a recreation meeting, will be joining us later. We've got in the room there live at Town Hall, Committeeman Hickey, Committeewoman Moreski, and Committeewoman Fernandez. Robin, can I get the the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News Somerville, Bernardsville News Whippany, and to all subscribers, and posted at the Township Municipal Building on January 6th, 2022.
Thank you. If we could all rise, please, and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, so this is the time of the meeting where Mayor Jacobs usually gives a recap of the COVID numbers. I don't have those numbers, so we'll skip over that. I guess we'll go to public comment.
We don't.
If anybody's participating by phone or by Zoom, do we need to call out those directions?
Sure. On a PC, you want to, during the meeting, you want to click on the icon at the bottom, labeled participants on the bottom of your screen. And there's a window on the right-hand side. You want to click the button that says raise hand. I have not seen any members of the public on the Zoom meeting.
Okay. And I take it no one there live?
Correct. No one's here except Jake.
Wait, Jake's here.
Jake is here.
Any questions?
No comments from Jake.
All right. So being told there's none, let's move on. Next is approval of our minutes. We've got 3 sets of meeting minutes to approve tonight. First is the December 20th, 2021 Township Committee meeting minutes from 7:00 p.m. The December 30th, 2021 end of the year meeting that occurred at 8:30 in the morning on a special meeting. And the last is the January 3rd, 2022 reorganization meeting from 7:00 that evening.
Correct. Excuse me, Committeeman Stevenson, I did add, I neglected to include the executive session meeting on December 20th. That's also was part of the packet. So there's 4 sets of meeting minutes now. That's my mistake.
No worries. We'll, as amended by Ms. Ray, can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Robin, a number of us were not in attendance at the 30th meeting, so I think it was myself, and Gina was not there either?
So I'll two abstentions for...
Yes, for the December 30th year end.
Correct.
All righty. Thank you, Committeeman Hickey. Next up is permits and raffles. We've got one on for this evening. It's an off-premise 50/50 raffle to benefit the Pottersville Volunteer Fire Company on December 10th, 2022 at 7:00 p.m., 8 Hackle Barney Road in Pottersville. Any context, any questions? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next up would be the monthly report discussion by subcommittee chair. I can start by saying I don't have any updates. I'm going to be meeting with the STAB folks tomorrow. Had a preliminary informational session in advance of that earlier this afternoon, but a more substantive update will come next time for me on that. By that time, I'll also have an opportunity to speak with Rodney about anything going on with DPW. And you all saw that we had an invite from Chief Grundyke to their event coming up. So hopefully you all can make that, but more substantive comment from me next time. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Committeeman Stevenson. The mayor and I have a library board meeting tomorrow, and we will have a Board of Health meeting on Thursday. And I believe Ms. Ray will cover our IT subcommittee meeting that we had with the fire companies later in her admin report. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, I see someone's joined us. Very good. Welcome back. Please take over. This is difficult to do from Zoom and you're all there. So please, welcome, Mayor Jacob.
If you finished the meeting by now, that was like, the job is yours. Keep going with it.
Yeah, we're just going to keep plowing through here. I had passed the baton off to Colin, who passed the baton off to the next person. So take it away, Mayor. Who would you like to hear from next?
Okay, Committeewoman Mareski.
Good evening, Mayor. Welcome
Good
to the
evening.
meeting. Hi, everybody. I'm going to take a little bit more time and talk about the EC. At their last meeting, they talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Some potential projects for 2022. One is working with the school for an Earth Day program. It might be a small program this year, such as just a tree giveaway, but they're looking forward to doing something big in 2023. Perhaps working with the Arbor Day Society and getting some free trees that way, and working with the Recreation Department as well. They had a couple ideas to do with the farmers market that perhaps they could do this year. A planting project, which would include the students or participants bringing things like yogurt cups, and we'll provide dirt and seeds and have little planting things for the kids at the table. And then how to build a spotted lanternfly trap presentation. Those will be coming around again sometime soon. One of the commissioners suggested building a rain garden, and the thought was perhaps put it in Miller Lane Park, back here just by the ball field. And then someone mentioned that a nice idea might be to name it in memory of Sergeant Patterson, who passed away in 2020 from COVID-19. Many of the commissioners on EC live in the hills, and they noticed that Christmas tree disposal was kind of an issue. And someone had looked up, Township already has a program in place in how to do recycling of those trees. Berners Township collects them at one place and then puts them in their wood chipper, and it becomes part of their wood chip pile. They are also using it as a fundraiser for the girls' basketball team, so maybe we can steal that idea and get something done a little extra. So the EC will be reaching out a little later to DPW, the school, and Neil Mastrobono to get some of these ideas started. JVH I'm meeting with tomorrow, so I don't have any updates on that, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Thank you, Mayor. Currently, as we speak, REC is having their meeting, so I'll have an update on that next time. And I have no further updates.
Okay, thank you. And I just actually came back from, I was at the rec meeting, thanking them for their participation and for their involvement, and asking them, just as I did with the Environmental Commission, to think of new programming that rec can run. And perhaps something that we're looking at is increasing rec's participation in Fall Fest, which we hope to actually have this year. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and we'll have some coordination with the Fall Fest committee and rec on that probably later this month. Let's see. Farmers Market, we've got a meeting that's being scheduled. Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, we have a meeting that's being scheduled, and presentation of some concepts on revising the affordable housing spending plan. So that'll be coming up later this month, we believe. Land Use Board, you and I were not eligible for the last Land Use Board meeting. I'm trying to think if there was...
And the one before, we were not eligible for the hearing for the...
We were not eligible for the hearing, which
Right.
I believe was approved for a project right next to Pluckerman Schoolhouse
Right,
Park.
right.
And
I didn't get an update from last
I
week.
didn't get an update on that either, right. And then also on land use, the state plan endorsement is underway. There have been some emails back with the state planning office. They've requested some additional information that I provided to them, and I know we also sent them a copy of the AT&T study, and they actually asked some questions that would lead to the idea of expanding the plan endorsement to also encompass some of the recommendations that were made for the AT&T property. And essentially that's all I have. Ms. Ray.
Sure. 3 quick items. Just to follow up to the December 20th flu clinic that was held at the firehouse, there were 287 COVID-19 vaccinations given and 20 flu shots.
Great.
Good number.
Good numbers.
Very good numbers. Also, this is an announcement from our sewer collector. The DLGS for the state has actually extended the grace period for sewer payments from January 1st, 2022 to March 15th, 2022. So that's been posted on our website, and residents have been notified. Just wanted to share that with you. And lastly, just wanted to report out IT-wise on a very productive meeting that Committeeman Hickey and myself had with members of the members of the Far Hills Bedminster Fire Department and Pottersville Volunteer Fire Department, as well as our IT manager, to go over cybersecurity compliance. Many of you are aware that by June 1st of 2022, the township has to meet 3 different tiers of criteria in order to satisfy our insurance risks with the Municipal Excess Liability Joint Insurance Fund that we're a member of. And as part of that, we started digging into some of the other entities that we are insuring, one of them being the fire departments are also part of our program. So we had a really good meeting as far as just taking an initial pass at what is required and talking a little bit about what each of the different departments had. And the next steps are to actually, our IT manager is going to go in and meet with them. Pottersville's doing a major overhaul of their IT, which is great. The timing is perfect for that. And I will tell you that the JIF does recommend that we sign an agreement with each of the different fire departments that helps to protect us going forward should they incur a risk, that we are protected. So, which is a good practice. So we're waiting for that agreement from the JIF, as well as some additional language that we can share. Is there anything I missed on that?
You got it. That's perfect.
Okay. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. The
Concludes
one
my
thing,
report.
I'm not sure if we mentioned this earlier, was yesterday, there was an event here at the Municipal Complex, and it was Officer Moni Cooper's last day, so it was her walkout. And it was a great event. Her family was there, fire department, a lot of the other volunteer organizations were there. For those who don't know, Moni for years had been the DARE officer assigned to the Bedminster Township School, and it was great to see Principal Swan there, as well as Superintendent Jen Giordano. Give a nice little gift to Officer Cooper, and for all of us who had kids that went through Bedminster School, and Moni was the one who would tell them at the end of the programs that I'm going to look out for you, I'm going to protect you, but if you cross the line, I'll be the first one to bust you. So Moni had certainly a great relationship with not just the kids, but all the parents in town as well. And so after 21 years of service to the Bedminster Police Department, Moni, we wish you a fantastic and well-deserved retirement. Thank you, Officer Cooper. Discussion on introduced ordinances. We have none. We have none that are introduced. We have no public hearings tonight. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Any motion to pull any of those items off the consent agenda? Seeing none, may we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez? And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have no other resolutions on for tonight. May we have a motion to approve the bill list pending review of individual invoices?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez? And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
New business. Does any township committee member have something they want to put on for discussion for new business? Seeing none, we'll move to old business. COVID-19. think we've already started. We'll cover this at the next meeting. I'll go over the numbers. Let's just leave it at that. Everyone has it. Numbers are way up. It appears that we may have hit peak on transmissivity in New Jersey, so that would take it, hopefully that's a good sign. And we'll go over the numbers at our next meeting. DOT improvements, we don't have the chief here, but both the chief and I continue to follow up with our DOT reps to see if we can't get those same improvements discussed for the River Road jug handle to be implemented down at Hills Drive. Utilities.
We do have some updates.
We do have some updates.
I'll start with Altice, Mayor, thank you. We met virtually with them late last week. I'm representing Bedminster and pushing from our side, and Committeewoman Fields will continue as the Berners Township liaison, which is
Great.
good because that gives us
That's
some
good.
continuity from last year. As I mentioned previously, they are in the process of doing the design work for the fiber overlay network. They're now working with Frontier Geotech out of Colorado to assist them with that effort. That's very typical in the utilities industry. That firm will take the tax maps, the homeowners association boundaries, and the geomapping, and they'll figure out how to implement and optimize the network design. So that is good because it's in progress. We should see the first run of the design output by this Friday. Once the initial design is completed, then we'll start the process of working with the individual homeowners associations to get their input and ultimately their approval. Marilyn Davis from Altice strongly reiterated their commitment to the project. So this is a 2022 deliverable. So that's encouraging. So hopefully we
So
see.
a 2022 deliverable, that means to actually install and make the connections to the units, to the residential units in 2022.
Shovels in the ground, 2022. Now, whether or not it wraps in 2022, that depends on the design itself, but it's full steam ahead.
Great.
So that's good news there. Just a quickie on New Jersey American Water. Deer Haven Road project, that work is scheduled to wrap up this week. The main connections have been completed at either end, as well as the house side service connections. They are now in the final stage of transferring service from the old mains, which there are multiple ones, to the new one. We did receive some homeowner complaints during the cutover. Fortunately, Committeewoman Fernandez is our eyes and ears up there and gave us an early heads up. But, you know, kudos to New Jersey American Water. They immediately responded to our concerns on late Friday afternoon as well as over the weekend, and those issues seem to have been addressed.
Now, I have a question really quickly. So, New Jersey American Water next up is moving to another main street in our town.
Gee Hill Drive is
Right.
next up.
So, do we have a list of lessons learned so that these things don't repeat on the next block over?
I think it's a fair question and something we should probably
Right?
do, as well as discuss with their construction manager, who also knows kind of what went wrong and what went right.
Exactly.
Do we know if they're going
Good
to,
idea.
do we know if they're going to use the same contractor?
Don't know.
Okay.
Too early. I think they're just in the design phase right now.
Yeah, and I do want to reiterate the kudos to New Jersey American Water, since one of the complaints was there was water on Old Dutch.
Right.
As temperature was dropping, I went out there, saw a guy in not the contractor's vehicle, but a New Jersey American Water vehicle.
Yeah.
And he was spreading salt.
Yep.
And introduced him. I drove down Old Dutch, and sure enough, between Old Dutch Place and the bottom of Deer Haven, there was water. He was out there. He was on top of it. I went out the next day. He did exactly what he promised. It was all salted. And it looks like they got all those issues wrapped up. Sorry for the inconvenience, but once again, thank you for being on top of it. And Gina, thanks for letting us all know that those incidents were going on. And while we're on utilities and, you know, talking about Gina, what's going on with PSE&G?
I have received an update from Tanya Banks at ECG that she's received all the applications thus far, and that they reviewed the applications, make sure they were all filled out correctly, and now they're moving on to the next step of all the applications that have been received. Now, if there were applications that were stragglers or that came in, they might take a little bit longer, but they'll still be processed. But they're gonna then start to do their evaluation that they have to do to see how much it would then cost per homeowner that's on, you know, the list of applications. based on their utility use. It goes by BTUs and how much gas they're going to use. And then, moving forward with that. So once that happens, then I guess they would send out commitment letters, and then then families would have to determine whether or not they want to commit to installing the gas and paying. And if some do commit and some don't, then that's going to, the numbers are going to fluctuate based on, who decides to commit and who doesn't. But, it's moving along, so it's see what happens.
And similarly, that if there's commitments for someone's connecting a dryer, and then they do commit, or they do make a decision to install a new heating system on natural gas, that will also help adjust those expenses?
So for 10 years, you have your BTU credits, so that it goes up to 10 years. So if you, at first you connect a grill or something, and
Right.
then you decide later on you want to connect your furnace, then your BTU commitment, obviously because you're using more gas, you will get credits for that.
Good. Great, thank you. And Pluckman Park, Doug, I take it no new updates from the folks down there?
Nothing new to report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. That's it. We'll go to Township Committee comments. We do not have an executive session tonight, so let's, 7:27. Can we get out of here by 7:30? Committeeman Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to echo your comments about Officer Cooper. Certainly, down at the school, and her presence there was always felt, and wish her the best in her retirement, and she'll absolutely be missed. Thank you for those nice words. Second thing, just I want to give a quick shout out to Neil. He is just Master Bono, our new rec coordinator, rec director. He's doing a great job with the basketball. I've talked with a bunch of different coaches. I think that the overall experience for all the children this year has been very, very positive. And, with COVID and the moving numbers and schedules, and he's been terrific, and just, we should all be thankful. It was a great selection, and he's doing a great job for us.
Thank you, Doug. And I've just left the rec meeting, and I'll tell you, he is lights out. Great addition to our staff. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to echo your comments and Committeeman Stevenson's, Officer Cooper, best of luck in retirement. It's funny, I have, as you know, a junior in college, and she still remembers that fifth grade, presentation. And when I told her yesterday, she's like, yep. So Officer Cooper made an impression on many young people. That's a great contribution to our community. Also, since yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, I just wanted to share a quote from him that kind of resonates with me. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. That's probably as true now as it was then, and certainly words to live by in 2022.
Great.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeewoman Mareski.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to extend my congratulations to Officer Cooper on her retirement. We wish you the best of luck as you move on to your new adventures. I was not lucky enough to have met her, and I don't have kids in the system, but it sounds like she was an amazing asset, so I'm sure town will miss her greatly. As Colin mentioned about Dr. King, I was doing some research today in honor of his birthday, and I came across something from a speech he gave to a group of students, speaking of students, at Barrett Junior High in Philly. He said, "Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't," why do I do this? "For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are." It just reminded me of our little town. So this coming year, I think is full of promise and optimism, and I look forward to working with our Township Committee and our other committees on projects that keep Bedminster one of New Jersey's best towns in which to live. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeewoman Fernandez.
Sorry.
No, I just wanted to, again, reiterate what everyone else is saying. Thank you so much to Officer Cooper for her many years of service in Bedminster, and that she will be missed greatly by everyone in Bedminster.
Great. And since this is our last regularly scheduled meeting for January, just a quick reminder that we have another meeting in January coming up, which is our first budget meeting. So that's scheduled for what, the 31st?
Yep.
So we're scheduled for the 31st in these chambers, and we will be going over the 2022 budget. And this is Robin's first solo stab at the budget. So Robin, we're looking forward to, 17 more meetings after that. So we'll get that.
Perfect.
Couple Saturdays thrown in
I'm
there.
ready.
We're good. So thank you all. Look forward to a successful budget sessions or series of budget sessions. And with that,
I have a brief comment.
we have a comment from our town attorney.
You probably didn't even notice, but through the good graces of Miss Ray, our resolutions and ordinances are no longer formatted on 8.5 by 14 legal, which clogs everyone's printers. They are now on 8.5 by 11, so.
Excellent.
Thank you for saving us on
Thanks for
paper
notes.
jams. So thank you for that.
My staff thanks you for having to get up and pull all those jams out when I'm printing Bedminster resolutions and ordinances on 8.5 by 11 paper.
All right. With that, thank you very much, Ms. Ray. And you can send a note down to Judy, down in Florida, letting her know that you got the thumbs up from John on the switching over the paper. And with that, take a motion to adjourn at 7:32.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Be well, Doug.
Aye.
There's your story above the fold, Jake.
Yeah.